Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
Teachers in our Catholic schools are recognized for their hard work in the classroom. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story of the Prize Patrol coming up.
Mark Giza will be by with the latest from Hollywood. And a special celebration for the Diocese of Springfield's most senior priest. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. There is no doubt that we have excellent teachers in our Catholic schools in the Diocese of Springfield, but it's always nice to get recognized. Each year, the Prize Patrol goes out and surprises outstanding teachers who were nominated for the Pioneer Valley Excellence in Teaching Award. Fittingly enough, this year's surprise classroom visits took place during Catholic Schools Week. Carolee McGrath introduces us now to this year's winners.
The thoughts in my mind, the love in my heart, the work of my hands, I give to you, O Lord. Amen.
Mary LeClaire, who teaches kindergarten at St. Mary's Academy in Longmeadow, starts the day off with a prayer, and then she gets the kids moving.
Have a really good day.
Mary, a member of St. Patrick's Parish in South Hadley, has been teaching for 30 years. She adores her children, and they think she's pretty special too. Just ask 5-year-old Gia McKinnon. What does Mrs. LeClaire teach you? Like when you get into class, what does Mrs. LeClaire teach you?
About spiders.
You learn about spiders from Mrs. LeClaire? Do you like that? What's your favorite part of your day?
Doing math.
Mary's dedication in the classroom has caught the attention of what's become known as the Prize Patrol in the Diocese of Springfield.
Ms. LeClaire exemplifies our teachers who go beyond just calling their profession a job. They come here to do a special ministry.
The Prize Patrol is led by Franciscan Sister of St. Joseph, Andrea Suzuki, the Superintendent of Schools for the Diocese, and Gail Furman, the Associate Superintendent. They surprised Mary with balloons and flowers and presented her with the Pioneer Valley Excellence in Teaching Award on a recent school day.
I love being able to share my faith with the children, and it's just our whole day is part of that. We start off with the whole school, which I think is wonderful, and we say prayer together, we celebrate birthdays together, and we do a little song together, and then we always, before we leave, we say a little special rule: respect God, respect yourself, respect others, respect our school, respect life.
When I heard that they were coming here, I call them the Prize Patrol. When I heard they were coming here, I'm like, yes, good for Miss LeClaire, and to be recognized for all these years of teaching and the years behind her and the years ahead of her. So honored that she is getting this award today.
The awards, launched by the Harold Grinspoon Foundation in 2002, are given annually to outstanding public and parochial school teachers in Franklin, Hampshire, and Hampden counties.
Well, this is a wonderful opportunity to recognize our teachers who not only consider their daily works as a job, but they go beyond that into ministry. And as we know, they prepare so well to make sure that all the children entrusted to their care receive the best education possible.
Sorry to interrupt you. Good morning. How are you? Oh my goodness, isn't it a great morning?
The next stop on the Prize Patrol route was St. Joan of Arc School in Chicopee, where they surprised Patricia Mead in her first grade class. Patricia has been teaching at St. Joan of Arc for 26 years. She's a member of St. Rose de Lima Parish in Chicopee. What do you love about your job?
I love the children. I love coming in every day to, it's the same, but it's different because you don't know what's going to come up during the day. You don't know where their questions are going to lead you, and you don't know what they're going to say that's going to surprise you.
Speaking of surprises, Maureen Jagodowski didn't see this coming. She teaches English to 7th and 8th graders at St. John the Baptist School in Ludlow. She's a member of St. Patrick Parish in South Hadley. She's been teaching in Catholic schools for 32 years. Were you surprised, excited?
I never expected it. I was shocked. I never expected it. I would have done my hair.
You look great.
Thank you.
But you're excited.
Oh, very excited. This is quite the honor. It humbles you in a way because, in all honesty, you look around, you see all the great work everybody's doing, and we all keep almost a standard that we expect of each other, of ourselves first of all, and everybody just lives up to it. I mean, it's crazy, the work that everybody does here. It's beautiful.
One of the great things about teaching in a Catholic school is you can share your faith in the classroom, but it doesn't stay there. Children take what they learn about Jesus and they bring it out into the world with them.
Good morning, boys and girls. How are you?
And that's exactly what Nicole Enderlin did. She went to Catholic schools growing up, both Holy Cross and Cathedral in Springfield, only to return to her roots. The 25-year-old was recognized for her work with preschool children at St. Michael's Academy in Springfield, where she was presented with a new teacher award. Enderlin is a member of Holy Cross Parish.
Because it was always, important to me as I was growing up, so it's nice to instill that in the young ones as they start in their school career too, to teach them parts of the Mass and all their prayers, and to know that, I had that experience that changed my life, and now I'm doing that for these kids as well.
Winners receive $500, a scholarship to take graduate courses at local colleges, a 3-month membership to a local YMCA, in addition to other prizes.
Hey, I've got an idea. Let's play Drive the Bus.
Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
Teachers will be honored at a banquet in May at the Log Cabin. And in order that we may continue to support the schools that these great teachers teach in, the Diocese of Springfield has a wonderful fundraising event coming up next month. Here to tell us more about it is Stacy DeBurn, Manager of Special Projects for the Diocese. Hi, Stacy. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Sharon. It's my pleasure to be here.
So we all know the cost of education today, and namely tuition. And I understand the diocese is planning a special gala hoping to raise funds to help students in need of tuition assistance.
That's right. Our inaugural tuition gala will take place on Saturday, March 10th at the Mass Mutual Center, and we hope to raise a whole lot of money to help families to defray the cost of tuition for our Catholic schools.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful evening and definitely a cause worthy of supporting. If anyone would like tickets or more information, where can they go?
Well, they can call our ticket line at 413-452-0699, or they can visit us on the website at diospringfield.org.
All right, thank you, Stacy DeBurn. Always a pleasure, and good luck with the gala.
Thanks so much.
And still to come on Reel to Reel, Mark Giza will be by with the latest from Hollywood. And the diocese's most senior priest celebrates a special anniversary. These stories and more are still to come on Reel to Reel.
Blessed are we. The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passionist Brother Terrence Scanlon, your Chalice host, inviting you to celebrate Boy Scout Sunday at 10. We welcome Father Yerrick Mendez from Our Lady of Guadalupe and Immaculate Conception Parishes in Holyoke as our Mass presider. The Chalice of Salvation, your spiritual connection, Sunday mornings at 10, right here on WWLP 22 News.
Come to Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence for retirees looking for an ideal rental setting to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We offer bright 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily Mass, restaurant-style dining, wellness and entertainment programs, all with a friendly community spirit on beautiful grounds. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
Travel with Catholic Communications in 2018 on a pilgrimage to Poland, Vienna, and Prague. I'm Father Gary Daly, inviting you to join Bishop Brzezinski and me July 16th through the 27th for an inspiring pilgrimage to Eastern Europe. We'll begin in Poland, visiting the monastery in Częstochowa, and then spend 4 nights in beautiful Kraków, visiting the Divine Mercy Sanctuary, the Wawel Castle and Cathedral, Auschwitz, and many other sites. In Vienna, we will have the opportunity to visit beautiful palaces and shrines and attend a Mozart concert. We will conclude in Prague for a 3-night stay, visiting St. Nicholas Church and other beautiful churches and sites, and an evening riverboat cruise. For more information, look for the link on iobserve.org or call 413-452-0643. Travel with us in 2018.
Daniel Day-Lewis turns in another terrific performance. Our favorite little British bear is back, and some fantastic plays playing right here in Western Mass. Let's take a look at this week's Real Culture. Paddington 2. Now, how cute is this movie? That great little bear is back, full of mischief and ready to outsmart a washed-up actor played by the perfect Hugh Grant. Now, this film has it all for families. It's a funny little story with bright sets, and most of all, our hero, that bear who is more than bearable. It's a sequel that should not be missed.
Hang on, how old do you think I am?
Oh, about 80?
80?
At least.
And now, another great film about family, faith, and what life is all about. It's called Forever My Girl. The story of a man who walks away from his family, then comes back as a famous country singer, Liam Page. He wants to reconnect with his long-lost daughter he never knew. Yes, it's a bit soapy, but in the end, it's about forgiving and making up for lost time. I loved it, but I am a true sap.
That's your car.
Yeah. What's wrong with it?
I don't do convertibles. They're too dangerous.
And now on to a great Western, Hostiles. And to tell you the truth, I'm not a fan of Westerns, but Hostiles is the real-life story of an Army captain, played by Christian Bale, who agrees to escort a dying Cheyenne chief back to his homeland. The film plays like a piece of a history book, so real, so in your face, you can't shake the film. Yes, the movie does have a good amount of guns and blood, but in the end, it reminds us of a time when life was not easy, and also that sometimes the most odd friendships do happen. We are also reminded that there is real good in the world, and you just have to look for it.
The Army wants to be certain that the chief gets home to Montana safely without incident.
First, let me say, Phantom Thread is a wonderful film. Great acting, sets and costumes, and perfect filming makes it eye candy for all of us. Three-time Oscar winner Daniel Day-Lewis is fashion designer Reynolds Woodcock, who has an eye for fashion, women, and perfection. Director Paul Thomas Anderson gives this film such a polished look. We feel like we are looking at a Vogue magazine. The film is long, but from the opening credits, I could not move, which meant no popcorn for my wife and myself. So do yourself a favor and see one of this year's best pictures. Well, that's my take. The rest is up to you.
I don't like the fabric.
Maybe one day you'll change your taste.
Maybe I like my own taste.
Just enough to get you into trouble.
Perhaps I'm looking for trouble.
Stop.
And you can see my reviews, as well as read other movie reviews, provided by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops online at iobserve.org. That's iobserve.org. And playing at the Majestic Theater in West Springfield is The Alabama Story, starring actress Kate Damon, who turns in a terrific performance. Constellations is playing at TheaterWorks in Hartford, Connecticut. Coming to the Hartford stage, Murder on the Orient Express in February, and the musical The Bodyguard at the Bushnell in latter February. I'm Mark Giza for Real Culture. Have a fantastic weekend.
There are more than 8 million children living in orphanages overseas. Catholic Relief Services and other aid agencies have made a commitment to changing this approach of care by creating family care centers. We learn more now in this Catholic News Service piece, followed by a promotional video produced by Catholic Relief Services.
Catholic Relief Services is changing its approach to how the organization will help needy children in countries devastated by poverty and conflict. To do that, CRS and other aid organizations are committed to replacing orphanages with family care centers in an effort to keep a majority of the more than 8 million children now living in institutions with families. CRS has produced a video it hopes will change the mindset about orphanages.
Poverty is causing people to give up their children and is breaking the social fabric of families. And so we have done this new video to show people that we need to change the way we care for these children and support these families so that they don't have to give up on their children and so the children aren't isolated away from their families.
The video tells the story of a mother living in a desperately poor country whose economic circumstances force her to send one of her children to an orphanage.
What people don't realize in many of these situations is children that are in orphanages or in some of these centers and homes actually have a living parent. 80 to 90% of them have a living parent. And so we wanted people to know these children aren't abandoned. They have a loving parent who's making a very difficult choice, and she'd rather not make that choice. That mother would rather have her child at home. So if we can work extra hard and invest in that mother as opposed to investing in a center, we can save a family.
This is not CRS's typical style of visual storytelling. They chose to do a dramatization as opposed to following a family facing this situation.
We just wouldn't be able to approach somebody living in Africa, for example, and say, hey, let us follow you with a camera as you do this. And so we needed to recreate that ourselves using actors and actresses so that you as an American can understand the impact that this decision has in a way that we just wouldn't have been able to do with our typical style. Our hope is that people watch the video and that they feel compelled to share it, but also to figure out what are some of the ways that we all might be able to better change the way we care for children overseas.
CRS sees this as a way that we can change the lives of over 8 million children around the world right now. And what we need is a mass movement that would help support these different efforts. And so we're not trying to tell people that the gifts that they have given to orphanages are a mistake, but we're trying to tell them that we need to refunnel those gifts that they've given to orphanages to family care support centers so that we can, as we would all want to do, make sure that children stay with their families.
Poverty tears families apart, and orphanages often do more harm than good. We must change the way we care.
You are watching Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here again is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Roulier.
The most senior priest in the Diocese of Springfield is celebrating 70 years since his ordination. Last Saturday, nearly 70 years to the day, Father Vincent O'Connor entered St. Michael's Cathedral to celebrate Mass with his family and friends. Kathy Harrington reports.
Well, I always wanted to be a priest, even as a kid. But yeah, that was my hope.
On a Saturday morning in January, Father Vincent O'Connor celebrated Mass, marking 70 years in the priesthood. This was Vincent O'Connor and his ordination class on that day in January 1948.
I just have to say to you that I'm very happy to be a priest. I'm very amazed to be a priest. I don't know why I was called to be a priest, because it's something, is too beyond expression.
As the oldest priest in the Diocese of Springfield, this is a rare milestone. On hand this day to celebrate with Father O'Connor were Bishops Mitchell Rosansky and Timothy McDonnell, as well as fellow priests and deacons, and family, friends, former parishioners, and students. Father O'Connor reflected on his 7 decades in the priesthood during his homily.
If we kneel down at night and our prayers included a prayer to the Lord and say, well, what did I do for you today? At the end of my tenure on this earth, my response to you is, thoughts are very, very simple. I remember Mother Teresa saying when she got the Nobel Prize, she said one thing, remember the poor. I was born on the Feast of St. Vincent de Paul. I never expected to be so identified with him.
With a little help, Father O'Connor offered Mass.
Take this, all of you, and drink from it, for this is the chalice of my blood.
Bishop Rosansky calls taking part in this 70th anniversary Mass an honor.
When I attend anniversaries of priests, whether it be 25 years or 40 years or 50 years or 70 years, as in the case of Father Vince O'Connor, what always strikes me is that when they reflect upon their years of priesthood, the priests are grateful, as Father Vince is, for his 70 years.
The common bond, says Bishop Rosansky, is that they would do it over again because the life of a priest is truly a gift from God. Father O'Connor's family continued the celebration with a luncheon in his honor following the Mass. I'm Kathy Harrington for Reel to Reel.
And Father O'Connor stood at the same altar in St. Michael's Cathedral professing vows during his 1948 ordination. Our final story tonight is one that we first brought you last June when I sat down with Father O'Connor, who is now retired from active ministry, to learn more about his call to this life of service to the people of God.
Well, I always wanted to be a priest since I was a kid.
Meet Father Vincent O'Connor. At 94 and a half, he is the most senior priest in the Diocese of Springfield. And as he says, it's a job that he's always wanted to have, ever since he was a youngster, growing up in Springfield's Holy Name Parish, where he attended the grammar school and later Cathedral High School. Father O'Connor, retired from active ministry, now resides at Monastery Heights, a senior living facility at the former Passionist Monastery in West Springfield, which, by the way, is the place where he began exploring his vocation in the early 1940s while attending a high school retreat.
And I remember meeting a Father Joe Patrick. And in the very beginning, we talked about the vocation of the priesthood, And he told me, well, I don't think you're qualified for that. So I was disappointed.
But Father O'Connor says he didn't lose faith. Instead, he entered St. Anselm's College in New Hampshire, and from there, then Bishop O'Leary sent him to study for the priesthood at the Seminary of Philosophy and the Grand Seminary in Montreal.
He sent every aspirant to the priesthood up to Canada to do the grand séminaire. And when we went through the first day, we got there, everything was in French. And if you didn't understand that, all the classes were in Latin.
Along with learning 2 foreign languages, Father O'Connor said he developed a strong devotion to the Eucharist.
I remember one time in the seminary, we had the midnight mass and I was the deacon. And it came time for communion. And the pastor, the superior, told me to help him out giving communion. Of course, in those days, the deacon really didn't function in that capacity. So I asked him in French, did I hear him right? And I felt so thrilled that I was to be able to give communion, you know, because that was such a special honor. It was the greatest Christmas gift you could get. And we never went home at Christmas. We had to stay there.
Because of World War II, Father O'Connor's class in the seminary would all come together for an ordination in the middle of the winter.
So then I was ordained on January 24th, 1948.
They were ordained by Bishop O'Leary, and his first assignment was to serve at St. Mary's Parish in Northampton for 3.5 years.
So there was quite a few priests, quite a few men ordained to the priesthood at that time.
Father O'Connor thought he would always be a parish priest, but he says Bishop Christopher J. Weldon sent him to Washington, D.C. to the Catholic University to study social work. When he returned, he established the Catholic Charities Office and the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. He also taught social work at Elms College in Chicopee, serving as department head for 17 years, where he established the first bachelor's degree in social work available in the United States. Along with these accomplishments, he worked in the Chancery Office of the diocese, using his expertise to help place children for adoption through Brightside. In 1969, Father O'Connor was appointed pastor of St. Catherine's Parish in Leeds, a position he would hold for 33 years until his retirement in 2002. Father O'Connor says he has seen much change in the church and in the world through all of these decades of ministry. And as the Diocese of Springfield welcomes its newest priest this month, he says there is a great need for priests to meet the people where they are.
We need Christ. We need him. We need him more than ever. And I think he's knocking at the door and wants to come in. And I think he's in the marketplace. And I think we gotta get down there.
Quietly, Father O'Connor sits with the Eucharist in his little corner of the world, praying, grateful for his 69 years of the priesthood.
We're so privileged to have God with us and, you know, existing with us. That's such a magnificent thing. Magnificent.
Congratulations, Father O'Connor, and we wish you all the best. And for this week, that's Reel to Reel. Thanks for spending part of your evening with us. For more updates anytime, you can find information and news on the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world on our news and information site, iobserve.org. And also be sure to friend us on Facebook, where you will be able to travel along with our reporters while they work on stories for Reel to Reel and get the latest news on the Catholic Church. Like us at Catholic Communications. I will be back at this same time next week for another edition of Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. And go Pats!
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.